Now back to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
And in the studio, I already feel like we're kind of friends already. You know how, Lummy, sometimes you get a guy in here and you're like, I don't know if I can dance with this guy or not.
Yeah.
But you dance with him because he's promoting something and some stuff like that. I got a feeling me and this dude could be hanging out. Like this guy's cut from the same cloth. Well, he's probably cut from a little bit more rugged cloth than I'm probably a softie compared to the generation he's born in.
I think he'd like going up to the track, up to your track in Ocala.
Oh, yeah, Paul, in Ocala, I own a 3/8 high-banked dirt track in Ocala.
Do you?
Yeah, Bubba Raceway Park. And that's not that far from where you're from. Where you are. So, I'd love to have you up here. Anyway, Paul Teutul Sr. In the studio. And Paul, of course, is most noted for, Orange County Choppers. That started in 2013. Went clear to what, 21, Paul?
That started in 2003.
Well, no. I'm talking about TV version, though.
Yeah, that was
2000.
Oh, did the TV?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
99 we opened up
the
shop. And then Discovery came along in the later part of 2002 because we did a 1-hour pilot, and then that got good ratings, and then they said let's try.
Now, when you were doing the pilot, Paul, did you just have a couple of your Goombas just come by with some film and just tape you guys putting some stuff together and tack welding this and arguing about that and just kind of the dynamic that you guys had in the shop, and then put that all together and then shop it with CMT, and they're like, oh yeah, this might work.
Well, it was Discovery, but it was
Discovery.
It was kind of like that. Excuse me, because
you were like, so the one good thing about watching Orange County Choppers is you could tell. Now, in some reality shows, you can tell that they're kind of not really that reality.
It's a setup.
Yeah, but with you, you might be one of the original OGs that really proved that I'm just going to say whatever the hell I want to, and I don't give a crap who I pissed off.
I'll tell you what. Give you a little story. We never signed up to be. I had a steel fabricating shop for 30 years, and always a bike guy. And then I said, maybe I'll open up a legit bike shop, but minimal, because I just like doing it.
Vogue kind of stuff.
So I get a call, like I just opened a shop. I just opened up a website, and I get a phone call, and they asked me if I want to do a 1-hour documentary on building a bike in Laconia. And I'm like scratching my head. So they're like saying, so that means that I'd be on TV. Well, what you say to yourself, that's the last thing you ever would think about in your mind, that you're going to be on TV. So you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be in front of all these people. What am I going to do? Should I dye my hair? Should I lose weight? Change the way I talk and all that kind of crap. And then, I said, you know what, dude, I'm just going to be me, I'm just going to be me.
Just be hard-ass Paul, yelling and screaming and beating people up.
and listen, I think that was the success of the show.
Oh, that absolutely. Your realness and your ability not to act, but to be yours. And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
No,
meaning
I get it.
you're not acting. You're just throwing together bikes, yelling at everybody, getting mad as hell, throwing fits. That's what I think initially gravitated people, and then it became a life of itself. I mean, Orange County Choppers just took off, and next thing you know, now all the celebrities need a chopper from you. In fact, a good friend of mine, Tony Stewart, I think has 3 bikes from you.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Every show, though, that has to do with building something really owes something to Paul, because part of it was the emotion and the drama, but part of it also was the build quality and watching Rick and the boys in the studio or in the shop with pieces of paper fabricating things. I mean, I'd never seen anyone do any of that kind of stuff, and now
I liked when Paul would walk in and tell they're all
Discovery and Velocity and everything that's really basically copying your guys' template.
But I liked when Paul would walk in and say, "You guys are idiots. That design sucks." Like, are you kidding me? Can't put that thing together. You guys are idiots. Let me go out here and start welding some stuff up, right? I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, Paul.
I just was watching a little clip on Jason Poole, who worked for me. He was the designer. And I walked in there very not diplomatic at all. And I walked in and I said, Jason, I gotta unveil this bike in South Dakota. Where is that?
I'm sorry, Sturgis.
Sturgis.
Yeah, Sturgis, which is the cooter,
Yeah.
which is like the
The
Super
creme de la
Bowl of
creme,
all
yeah.
biking, right?
Certainly.
Yeah. So Jason's like one of these guys that are kind of cool. You know, you maybe a little geeky, you would say. So I go in there and I say, dude, you want me to ride this bike out and unveil it in front of all these people in Sturgis? Look at it. I said, I'm not going to ride that. You need to do, and he's like standing there with his mouth up. I'm like, you're not really saying this to me, right? I said, you need to change this bike. I'm not riding anything like that. Poor guy, you know what I mean? Like, he's just trying to do his job, and I'm tearing his ass up.
Of course.
But you know what? Here's the thing about it, Paul. You got to think in your little head.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm maybe cutting a promo on this guy, but damn, it's good TV. I mean, right?
Well, I don't think about that because it's just
That's
something
why it
goes
was
on
good
in my
TV.
mind.
Right,
It
right.
was natural.
Right.
So I say to him, I give him all the
Crap.
crap, right? And I walk
Nice
out,
self-edit.
and he's like you can see him standing in the room back there, and he's just trying to figure out what happened. And he starts losing his mind, and he's like, "Oh, you want me to change this?
Yeah, let me
You
cut
want
this off."
And he starts escalating, and he walks out into the shop, where everybody's working on the bike there, and he rips the bike off the lift. It's the bike's got its motor in it and
Right.
everything. He just rips it off, and he's like, "Okay, let's start another bike."
And so you literally had to start over. Yeah. What a lot of people don't realize, Paul in the studio today until the top of the hour. First of all, Paul owns or is a major owner in Orange County Chopper's restaurant and God, what would you guys call that? A restaurant and a museum?
Yeah, restaurant museum. Yeah,
And it is beautiful. It's over on 49th Street, right at 49th and 19. You cannot miss it. It's the Burt's Harley is one side of the road, or just the driveway, I should say. Yeah, that's not a road. That's a driveway. So Burt's Harley's on one side of the driveway, on the south side of the driveway, and then on the north side of the driveway, which I think, Paul, I think your guys' building's bigger than Burt's. And you have Orange County Choppers, and it's a restaurant, and it's a museum, and then it's a venue for like, I don't know, what's maybe 3,500, 4,000?
Well, the inside's probably.
I'm talking about the outside stage.
Outside's
Unlimited if you went into the parking lot.
24,000 square feet out there. So
Yeah.
it's big.
And I saw Jackal out there and Jesse Dupree, and he's good friends with Bert, and it was just unbelievable. It's really a pretty good little venue to watch a show. I mean, there's not a bad seat in the house. You can get a high top, eat dinner out there, have a few beers, and then watch a
Play a
good
little
band or some line dance. There's always some hot chicks laying around there up in the cut. I'll tell you that.
I never noticed.
Anyway,
pro.
Paul has, I think you guys got a big motorcycle convention going on. What's it, next Saturday and Sunday?
Well, it's Thursday, Friday. Yeah, it's the 16th through the 19th. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The St. Pete Bike Fest.
Okay.
Down there.
St. Pete Bike Fest. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday's the real big day. But they're there again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Paul, will you be there all 4 days?
Yeah. And then I lead the ride. The ride's on Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday morning.
Yeah, we do a nice little ride.
I think up to the Sunshine Skyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did that one time before.
I could not
That
do
bridge
that.
is high, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Paul,
I was a little
I'm
shaky
going to
on
give
that.
you a little hint.
Yeah.
Stay to the inside. Don't. I've been on a bike across that bridge, and if you suck on that left lane, if you suck on the very far left lane as close to the wall, yet that's about as good as it gets. You do not want to go on the outside wheelie. You'll start getting sick.
A little gust of wind.
Yeah, especially if you look over a little bit, you're like, oh wow, it's 197 feet. It's 80-20 with regards to those that make it.
Correct.
Yeah. 80% die and 20% make it. And we get about 4 or 5 a year.
About that.
Really?
They put that fence up there now, but that doesn't.
Yeah, they got some stupid fence. Like, I'm not going to bring a box cutter if I'm going to off myself. Please.
A sawzall at least.
Just my fat assness would probably go right through the deal. Paul was listening to the show a little bit earlier when I don't know what the hell we were talking about, and Paul's like, "Man, I was kind of wanting to chime in on some of your stuff, so I'm actually gonna extend an invitation, Paul. Anytime you want to come in and just hang out, and because I think that we kind of are all wired the same way a little bit.
Yeah. No, I like crazy,
Well, that's
I do it good. I do crazy.
If you look to your right, we got a full-blown stage.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then we used to have, it got cut off, but if you look up to the rafters, we used to have a stripper pole, and you can see where it's been cut off. Can you see it there above the stage there? Maybe you can point to it.
Yeah,
Show
above
Paul.
the.
There used to be a stripper pole, but we had to sawzall it off once our society got so woke where we couldn't even bring strippers in here anymore.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It really does. So, Paul, when you started building bikes, didn't your dad build bikes?
No.
He was an iron worker.
No.
I got a bad information on you, Paul.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, Paul was an iron worker.
I had a steel business for 30 years.
See our signs, like our Bubba Army signs. We had a steel worker, like doing stuff like fabrication like that.
I did like buildings and wrought iron railings.
Oh, things like that.
Stairs,
yeah, not stupid Bubba Army signs.
Yeah, come on now, right?
You can say that, Paul. Not dumbass, cheap Bubba Army sign. Get the hell out of here, buddy. I had big I-beams that were holding skyscrapers up.
But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
Now, were you always a bike enthusiast though, and
Yes.
like always taking your bike apart or trying to customize it or chop it out, rake it out, or something like that?
Yeah, and having a steel business allowed you to do that,
right?
Especially back in the early '70s or later part of the '60s. People didn't have that stuff available, welders and grinders and cutters. So if you didn't have that stuff, it really made it difficult. So, for me, everything was right there. So if I wanted to cut up a frame, extend a frame, weld it, whatever it is that I wanted to do, cut fenders, I was able to do it. And, back in the later part of the 60s, I was involved in, I go back pretty far.
I think you were in the Vietnam War, were you?
I was Merchant Marines in 1968, and I delivered ammunition to Vietnam.
Oh, wow. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, though, isn't it?
No doubt.
Hold on, Paul. That can go south real fast, can it?
A boat full of munitions.
I mean, that can go south. When one goes off, Paul, you usually aren't around to see the last one, right?
No.
So how did you get the big news from Discovery after you did the initial pilot and, you did this thing where you kind of go off a little bit? And how did you find out that they were going to do the show for real?
Yeah, I've known people that have, been real close to getting a TV deal, and then it's in a negotiations, and then all of a sudden just nothing happens. How did you actually wade through the process of getting a deal? Because a lot of people don't. Most deals just get shut down.
Listen, for me personally, when I seen that show, I said, this cannot be. They would never, ever do this to me for one, or put a show on, especially Discovery, who likes ants and bugs and elephants and
It
stuff.
really was at the time. You're right. That's true.
You know what I mean?
They were one of the only HD channels at the time, and they were just broadcasting anything they could in HD.
Yeah, and then along comes the Tuttle, the most dysfunctional family that you could possibly find out.
Times three.
Yeah, so you watch the show, and I watch the show, and I say, I'm going to go get a bag and try and breathe because I can't.
I'm hyperventilating, and I just got off model glue, so I got.
Yeah. So actually, what happened was I'm at my shop, and it's my steel shop, and my secretary says, "You're getting emails. You're getting
Fax.
Fax.
Back with
Back in the
facsimiles?
day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man. Old school.
Paul
I'm old
Teutul,
school.
he rules with faxes, my
Yes.
friend. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He said, I ain't got no download, Willie. I got a fax right through the machine here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So she keeps sending them down to me, and I'm thinking people hate me, because I'm just a crazy.
'Cause you're a prick.
Yeah, because whatever. And I'm reading these things, and they're like, man, dude, they're all loving me, the chicks are loving me, and you're a good looking guy, and all this stuff. So there was 4 bike shows on that night, and they were pretty professional as far as I was concerned, and so it comes around the nighttime, and they said our show was the highest rated show on cable TV.
What?
Cable TV.
How killer
Now,
was
Paul,
that?
can I ask you a
Amazing.
question?
Yeah.
Paul, did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did you have your deal cut before or after those stats came out? I'm just saying.
It was after, but listen, it was like an overnight. It was a phenomenon.
Oh, it
Yeah,
did.
overnight
I mean,
success.
it hit out of nowhere because you
Boom.
were so. And the reason why you hit out of nowhere, Paul, and it wasn't really a buildup. It was just a big hit, is because of you and the way you acted and just the way you rolled. It was very refreshing for for regular dudes that are wired like us to see, a kind of an unhinged steel worker, and you all remind us of our of our grouchy dad that can whip our ass.
Yeah.
It resonates with guys my age. Be like, because my dad's about your age, and my dad can whip some ass, and he doesn't put up with no crap, and like that's the way
we had a promo or two cut on us, didn't we, by a guy just like Paul?
Exactly.
Well, it was probably one of the first shows ever that anybody and everybody in the country in different generations can relate to him.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
My dad can relate to Paul being a prick. I can relate to Paul being a prick, and people younger than me can relate to Paul being a prick.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because
But he
not
was
a lot
just
of
being himself, and that
Right.
was really, there's something amazing and genuine about it. And if it didn't come with good building, it would have never worked. But it was no content for HD at the time.
Right.
They really created an industry. I mean, I don't know that anyone really gives you guys the credit you deserve, because there just wasn't that kind of content now. And you can't turn on the television on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon and you don't see tons of build shows that are
Right.
marginal compared to
One
your
of my
guys' show.
favorite techniques, Paul, is when you would be mad, but you'd try to bite your lip, and you would just be like beside yourself, and then you'd just finally blurt it out, and then go back to your shop, then go back to your office, and leave them with the good news. But
Yeah.
you'd sit there and hold it, and be like, you could see you're struggling with it, and you almost like, you go back to your office, then maybe you come back again, and then finally your big mouth would just blurt it out,
Yeah,
and
I
it caused all
can't-
kinds of havoc.
I can't help myself.
I've got a brother who's very similar to you.
Yeah, very much.
Stephen Tuttle, right?
So let me ask you a question, Paul.
Yeah.
What was what was your very first, and this is probably a question that a lot of people ask, but what was your very first TV bike that you built? And is that worth something? I know you built bikes way before that. Like, again, you started in
Right.
99. You had 3-4 years of building bikes. So
Yeah.
a couple different red letter days is you probably know your first bike that you built just as, in 99, that bike. And then what was the first TV bike?
It was a Navy bike. We built it. We
The
built
first
Navy.
TV bike.
Yeah, I still have it. It's at the shop.
It's at
When
the-
you
it's
go-
at-
yeah, it's at the
it's
register.
in the
Now, who
museum.
was your customer on your very first Paul Teutul Sr. Ironworks Willie? Like, not on TV, 1999, trying to make a living. What was that first bike?
They were old school bikes. I built bikes like from the 60s with the panhead motors. and the
Right,
shovel.
right.
I did that for some years, and then I created a style bike. I get with the 240 tire. I did a line of those, and
And would you
then-
have to build a jig for that? And all? I mean, would it get that detailed where you'd build a jig for it and everything?
Yeah. We did. We had a lot of equipment and a lot of good people, so there was nothing we couldn't do in house. We could build anything, and I think that's how we. Those bikes were spaceships, man. And we got 5 weeks to build them. That's it, 5 weeks. You don't get 5 weeks in a day because the unveil for a $1 billion company is relying on you.
Right. You
to-
can't tell TV no.
What-
When they tell you, Paul Sr., bitch,
Yeah.
we're going to roll this out on episode 5, you better have it done.
Yeah, and all that stuff. You're always underneath the timeline. Oh, we got to get this done. It's true.
That's
That
how they
shit
got
was
the
all
emotion,
true.
is keeping you with
It
deadlines.
was all true.
As you were getting closer to deadlines, that's when you guys would have those emotions in
Yeah.
time. Like, you're fighting about what's going to work and what's not going to work.
You
and-
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's get it done. Get it done.
But we'd never seen anyone use CNC machines. And you guys had all of the killer machinery, and the fabrication was amazing. And so I remember, the New York Yankee bike. And then did you guys have to redo that or something?
Yeah,
It got
later on
damaged.
down
How
the
did it
line.
get damaged?
It got sold, and somebody bought it, and somehow
Wrecked
they
it?
destroyed it, and it wound up back in the shop.
Right. and then you guys repainted it, got everyone to re-sign it again and everything. Pretty incredible.
Paul, I got a question for Paul.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him which one I endorse because I endorse one. There's only two big welders, Lincoln and Miller. I mean, right, for the most part?
Yeah.
Are you a Lincoln or a Miller guy?
That's a tough question, man.
I said, hold on. And hold on. And all the TV and all the radio you've done, I guarantee you, I don't know that you've ever been asked that.
No, I haven't.
Right. And so, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
I got to say Miller because
Yes, the big blue box that rocks, bitch. Yes.
we built a bike in the beginning for Miller. We built a bike and we had it set up where we towed a Miller welder behind it. It was really cool.
I had a guy named Andy who was my liaison at Miller, and I get like the plasma cutter. I get a new piece every year for my race team, and their products are unbelievable. I was hoping you were going to say Miller. And I want everybody to know, man, me and Paul didn't have a conversation before for me to tell him like which to say. Like he genuinely, I'm assuming, Paul, you're genuinely a Miller guy.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
I call them the big blue box that rocks. God, they're good. They're good. Paul, are you good enough to? I mean, I know the expression. Can you weld nickels? Are you good enough?
No.
No.
I'm not a great welder, to be totally honest with you. I'm old school. When I had my steel shop, all we did was stick weld.
Right.
We didn't do no Heliard.
No
We
Heliard.
didn't do no TIG on. We just burnt rod all day long. And we would burn rod
like cavemen, right?
Yeah.
Straight,
Yeah.
just putting steel piece A to steel piece B, and we didn't care about the dimes.
100%.
And who was like, with all the intricate bikes that you built, who was the best welder that you'd ever had?
Rick, yeah. Rick was the man. Definitely the man.
Who's the best on the ball peen? Because sometimes when you're really pounding out those fenders and you got them on the roller,
He was good at all that.
Rick
With
was the
English
man.
wheel, everything.
He was the man.
No doubt about it. Yeah. You give him a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, and some metal.
There you go, bro.
He turned anything into the shape that you could only imagine.
where's Rick at nowadays?
Still doing it.
Rick works at a Harley Davidson dealership in PA. I just was at his shop just recently. We stay in touch. I even had him do some work on one of my bikes recently. So he's pretty much. I stay in touch with Christian and Nick occasionally. I see those guys, but not everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of off doing it. Jason, I still.
And now
stay in touch with.
you're like, I don't got to build bikes. I got restaurants, buddy.
You guys got a merch store in there too, as well.
They got
all
an
the swag.
unbelievable merch store there.
Sure.
Listen, you walk in the place, man, and it looks like something from L.A. It looks like something from Hollywood. It is like so. I mean, it's so spacious, and it's got so many good visual, like museum, stuff to look at. And then the food. Let's not forget the food. The food's great. The service is great. Plenty of room. You can watch a venue there.
Yeah.
There's, I think, every night of the week you guys got like from a Jeep show to a bike show.
Line dancing.
Cornhole night, karaoke, everything.
But if you look at the walls, all that memorabilia, like I collected my memorabilia for 20 years from the first piece that I got. So if you look at, those are like 16-foot walls. Yeah. Every wall in the whole restaurant all the way around is just pictures or tanks or stuff that people would build you, stuff that they would give you be like phenomenal, and it would just keep coming in and coming in. And then we had like 75 licensees. We had doorknobs, we had Christmas bulbs, car mats, jackets.
I had a Christmas where my mom gave me tons of OCC stuff, for sure. Yeah. I don't know how my mom even knew where to find it because she's not very techie. And I don't know, but one year I had OCC, skull cap. I had all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, man, it's good. It's good stuff. It was great quality. It lasted forever.
You know who Paul would absolutely love, Lummy?
Who?
My dad.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
Oh, now see, Paul. Here's my up on the screen here. You can see. Here's my dad. Right here, he restores 32 Fords.
No way, bro.
Yes.
Just them.
My dad restores 30. I wish I could get, Lummy, can you get me some more pictures?
Yeah, see if I can get them.
My dad does think like when my dad works on his 32 Ford, and like if there's a imperfection like on the fender, my dad still fluxes lead in. Like he'll flux.
Oh, does he?
He'll flux lead in,
That's old school.
and then he'll hand file it.
Yeah, you don't see that no more.
Yeah, let me see. I think this is a. I'm just trying to get a better. He has 4 1932 Ford. He only does 32 Fords.
That's the best year.
And the reason why it's the best year, it's the first year of the Flathead.
Yeah.
And my dad became friends with Bud Meyer, whose family owned the Eddie Meyer Speed Shop in Hollywood, California. And they're one of the very first speed shops that really kind of started doing like dual, like 2 carbureted intakes and hemispheric heads, all for 32. So all the 32 guys back in the days would go down to Eddie Meyer's speed shop and get, like a triple Strombo intake and all that kind of deal. So you and my dad would just can you try to find me a picture? Are you working on some pictures?
I was trying to pull up your video that you did when you
How
filmed
old's your
with him.
dad?
My dad is 75.
So he's my age.
Yeah. Oh, you guys would be out in the
You're
shop.
not 75. You
Yeah,
are?
I'll be 75.
75.
You're looking amazing.
Maybe.
You look
He
incredible.
says he still can curl about 210. Is what he
you
said.
can curl me for sure.
Lummy, what are you
I
trying
sent
to?
you the video of when you went out to Reno. The end of the video, you have like a picture of a shop and his car and
All right,
everything.
hold on here. So I the one thing though is I get really nervous, Paul, when my dad lets me drive his car. This is a 32 Ford Phaeton right here. And he kind of made it. He didn't really finish. He kind of flat blacked it and kind of just made it like his daily driver.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit of my dad's car collection here. Hold on. Let me. What's a heater, isn't it? Right.
And then at the end, about 15 minutes in.
There's my dad.
Make sure you didn't get stuck.
This probably reminds me. Our dynamic probably really might remind me of your dynamic too, Paul. Wait till you see my dad and I. Hold on here.
Remember? You and I are going to go round and round.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, I'm like, you and I are gonna go round and round, Pops.
To get you in a switch this weekend. Call.
You'll have to see the view at the top of our hill, too.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, hold on. Let me see here.
About 16 minutes in.
What's that? What's that?
It's about 16 minutes when you go back to the shop after the ride.
When we get back to the shop?
Yeah.
All right, hold on here. I'm going to show Paul my dad's shop because he
Oh, there you go.
my dad restores antique gas pumps too, Paul.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the gravity.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, see, Paul, this is all
Those are
right
real
down
ones.
your alley.
We need one of those at the shop.
You do. Hold on. So that 32 Ford there, Paul, it's called a B400 convertible sedan, and they only made 823 original of them, and there's only like 18 left. And my dad restored all of that. Like my dad, put like, I don't know, maybe 14 or 15 coats of lacquer on that car. And don't think that my fat ass wasn't out there water sanding between every coat. When I was growing up is when he was making this car, and oh my God, water sand. And I know Paul about water sand, and that's the way that's really the only way you can get a good finish is if you water sand in between coats.
Yeah.
Here we go. So this is his. He collects signs and
It's awesome.
Coca-Cola stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I got everything.
You got all this stuff. And then let me see. This is that's his B400, and then that's me and my dad right there. I think I can kick us. I think I can take him.
Your dad looks younger than you do.
Hey, easy, Paul. Hey, Paul, easy on that. Easy on that, Paul.
Just kidding.
I'll tell you though, Paul.
He's a big guy.
He's still a big dude. Like I grabbed
Yeah.
a hold of him a few times, and he's still got big legs and big arms
Yeah.
because he works in the shop all day. So he's hand lapping valves and doing all that kind of stuff.
I never noticed. Look at his legs compared to yours. His are bigger than yours.
I know
His calves are bigger
Yeah,
than yours,
he's a
Bubba.
big
You got
boy.
enormous legs.
He's a big dude. He whipped
For
my
sure.
he whipped my ass growing up.
There it is.
Man, I
he
was
did.
hoping my mom would whip my ass and my pops wouldn't. I'm just telling you. And Paul, that's the generation that we grew up in. Is your dad would whip your ass. I mean,
No.
there was no timeouts or let me take
Go to your
your
room, face the wall.
Yeah, there was none of that. There was here's what would happen. Your dad would light your ass up 2 or 3 times. Then you'd go and cry like a little bitch for like 5 minutes. And then you'd come back and your dad would tell you, son, I had to kick your ass and he'd teach you like a life lesson kind of deal. Yeah. And then you'd get back to working. Right? That's kind of how it went.
No, it was, yeah. And if he hit you for nothing, he would say, well.
You're like, you deserved it.
Yeah, or we'll make it up. I'll make it up for you.
I'll make it up for you.
Make it up to you.
Dad,
later.
you hit me for not. Well, there was never really any of that disclosure. You never had. Yeah, you never would say, Dad, you hit me for nothing, because that would get you another hit for bringing up the hit for nothing. So you just kept your mouth shut. That's what you learned. Paul, I want to really thank you for coming in today, and obviously we also have another week for your event, so we will promote your event all next week as well. And let me maybe next week we'll roll out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could borrow Lasker's hog.
Oh, there you go.
I could probably get a hold. See, I used to be the spokesperson for Jim's Harley, and Jim's Harley sold to Bert. And Bert bought Jim's Harley and turned it into Bert Barracuda, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
So I could get a hold of Bert and say, Bert, I got my motorcycle endorsements. I grew up I learned how to ride a motorcycle on my dad's 79 Goldwing. That's what I learned on.
Well, you've done a lot of rallies, bikes for badges.
Yes.
You've done lots of those over the year for police officers.
And maybe I can attend Paul's bike fest with him. Paul, can I ride kind of close to you? Can I be within the first 13 rows of you so I can feel important?
Listen. When we go over that bridge, you can hang on the way out.
Oh, you're gonna let me be on that?
You can cut that wind for me, okay?
You get me on the far right, kid. So you get me.
You're his blocker.
Next Thursday, Paul said you can be front when we go over the bridge. Other than that, I'm going to be up there. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a big bike fest. You can go to stpetebikefest.com. It's at 10575 49th Street. It's the old 49er flea market that now is an absolute Harley mega center with Paul's restaurant right across the driveway. All of Paul's social media, you can go to orangecountychoppers.com, Orange County Choppers on Instagram and Facebook, Paul Teutul Sr. on Facebook and Instagram. Paul, why don't you have your own YouTube channel?
You're so funny, dude. You're so I wanted.
Don't get mad. Are you mad at me?
No,
I wasn't trying to make you mad.
I think that's like crazy that you said that, because just in the last week or so, I know a lot of people that do YouTube, and I just never really. But I said, you know what,
Paul,
I need to do that. I need to do
you're
that.
Missing out on it, buddy.
I have a 1:00 appointment with a guru.
Yeah, right.
Today, and I'm going to make that happen.
They could just roll around with you a couple times a week on whatever you're getting yourself into.
I have so much content.
Old repurposed content.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And he has both.
So
he does
much
both.
content.
Yeah, Paul.
He does old and new, and people love the
Paul,
old.
get off your old lazy ass and get that going, buddy.
I'm doing it.
Because you know what people are doing?
And talk about
you know what people are doing?
Okay.
People are going and using some of your old stuff.
Right.
Kind of like, giving their comments and pontificating, and man, look at Paul. Paul's really losing it and stuff like that. And people are repurposing some of your old stuff and doing quite well with it.
Yeah.
So that needs to be you doing that.
But people my
100%.
age are starting to cut the cable too, because I'm sick of watching war. I'm sick of watching, political pontification. And so I spend probably 70% of my television viewing on YouTube. I pay for a premium subscription so I don't have to have any crappy commercials. And his stuff would come up, and I'd probably end up watching it.
If I saw Paul Teutul at home,
right?
Or Paul Teutul, mowing the lawn, or Paul Teutul cuts a promo at the guy who's French frying at the restaurant. I would just, you got Paul. You have the distinct honor of having a brand. Don't let people nip off your brand without you doing it yourself.
No, I'm
gonna call you names, and I'm gonna call you an old lazy son of a bitch.
No, I'm not lazy.
Lazy's the last thing.
But I know it. I'm completely opposite of. He hates being called that, so I'm gonna call that until he gets his channel going. Because he needs to get it going, Paul. You don't understand, buddy.
Meeting at one, Bubba. How much more can you bust his balls?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna bust his balls because I love him, and I want him to. I want Paul to benefit from all of his Paulness. If that makes sense.
we have a farm, so we got a couple horses, 5 cows, 4 pigs, 3 dogs, and that's like a show by itself.
Yeah.
Just me and my wife.
You got a huge brand, Paul, and people would gravitate to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
And
I have a lot to offer. I think people want to know, like, how to begin. What are you doing today?
Paul,
some
can
of
I
the
tell you
cool
what?
stuff.
The behind the scenes stuff people think is so cool.
But Paul, can I tell you another
So
big franchise within your new YouTube franchise? When you train. Like just you going to the gym, because you still got pretty jacked up arms. You still, just your routine and what you're doing.
Absolutely right. You look at that video of RFK Jr. barely able to do 10 push-ups, but he gets up and he looks all jacked up.
Yeah.
That thing got so many millions of views.
Yeah.
His would be like,
I want to see Paul.
millions
I want to see
instantly.
Paul with 45 dumbbells,
Right.
doing on the bench flies.
Exactly.
I want to see all that. Then get mad at the person spotting them and telling them to get the hell out of there. You did it wrong, bitch.
And then guys like me be like, I wish I could do 45 still.
You spotted me
stuck in
wrong.
30s.
Get the hell out of here. Get those 30s out of here, puss boy.
Hey, just so you know, the reason he doesn't have a YouTube yet is he was waiting to come on here so we can come back and talk about the YouTube.
Paul,
Yes.
bitch,
Yeah.
I'm
Come on
telling you.
back.
One, you're invited anytime you want to come in. We talk about politics. We talk about, like this next thing I'm going to talk about, Nashville school shooter. At the manifesto, he was a trans, and he vowed to kill privileged white kids at the school,
Which is a hate crime.
Which I got,
by the way, that they never mentioned.
But here's what I don't understand. Boy, it's real cool to mention trans when somebody's transing, but when a trans person does a bad thing, then all of a sudden there's no more transing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't have the best world. You're either transing or you're not transing, and there's good trans and there's bad trans. This one happens to be a bad one, but we need to bring it up nonetheless, right?
Yep.
I mean, we just can't scuffle that off and give people that are transitioning a pass. People that are transitioning, and then maybe after they've transitioned, they're like, oh my God, what did I just do? I just cut off my wiener, and now I'm a girl. I
just cut off my wiener, and I'm still a boy.
You want to make Paul? You want to see Paul flip out, cut off his wiener, and let him tell him he's a girl when he wakes up? So Paul, listen, open invitation anytime you'd like to come in.
I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to get a couple things together, so I have something to offer, and I'll come back on. And,
when you got your
listen,
YouTube channel.
If anything, this is fun. This is, you know what? Listen, I get boring interviews. Like I want to just cut my throat with a butter knife. You know what I mean?
Some guy saying, "Well, Paul, tell me the time you got mad at Junior." Just
it's
stupid
like,
stuff.
Shut up,
right? Stuff that's already been seen on TV, right?
It's just I don't really like doing these things that much.
No.
Unless there's an environment like this, then I'd stay on here all day.
You think you're at
because I just never
Paul,
run out of shit.
we got liquor and beer, and we got food.
Full bar,
we got everything.
Hall of Fame.
You don't want me with liquor.
We got food, liquor, beer, whatever you need, Paul. I'm just telling you. This is like a nightclub of radio, and we would love to have. So listen, let's have you back. I'll tell you what. Let's have you call the show maybe Wednesday of next week just to remind about Bike Fest. Okay. We'll do like a little caller and a little phone in, and then after Bike Fest, let's have you back in after you've kind of maybe refined your YouTube channel a little bit, and then anytime thereafter. I mean, right?
I'm going to bring in a Paul Sr. bobblehead doll too.
Nice.
I'd like to have one of those.
You can put it up there and let it just tap the head every once in a while.
Bubba, also, I just want to bring up real quick for Bike Week. We partnered up with a company called Demons Behind.
Yes, right here, brother.
And we got the shirts on now, and we're doing a co-branding with them, and they're going to be there all 4 days.
Demons behind me.
Demons
just
behind
for
me.
those who didn't hear your Italian clear voice.
Demonsbehindme.com. It's a pretty good brand. It's a good fit for everybody in the room, because there's no particular demon. One of the reasons we partnered up with them is the two owners, Jim and Chris. One started it because his sister passed away at age of 29, an overdose, and the other guy had some legal troubles. So whether it's an abusive parent or alcohol abuse in yourself or something. We all have some
Or
type
legal
of-
problems. We've all had those too
Yeah.
now. Let's throw that part in there.
So
Very
the demons
important.
behind me mantra pretty much is any demon. There's not in particular. They're not tied to alcohol abuse or drug abuse.
Yeah.
Or,
Is that what the saying on the back of his shirt was?
Yeah.
It's one of those shirts? Because
Yeah.
I was reading that when he was getting on stage.
Yeah.
Really impactful.
Yes, it really is. It really is. I almost forgot to bring that up.
Yeah, the back of your shirt. Read what the back of his shirt says.
You want me to read
No,
it?
his.
I'm
the
a
back
badass.
of Paul's, the
I'm a
back of Paul's
badass.
shirt.
I got
I'm a
this.
badass.
Same
Big
one?
biceps.
Okay, yeah.
Here, turn around.
I'm a badass with big biceps.
Oh, it says that. That's just says it from the front.
Oh.
Hold on. There we go. It says warrior, and then it's like a
Definition.
definition. It says a brave or experienced fighter. Get up, put your armor on, and keep fighting.
And that's Paul, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
love
you.
it.
Yeah. Well, the
That's-
nice thing about that is it can resonate with anybody.
Sure.
Now you don't have to be an alcoholic or a drug abuser or somebody that was abused by a parent or a loved one or
It can
loved
just
one.
be the way you roll.
That's it. And
Right.
the demon gets thrown behind
Again,
you and it's gone.
Demonsbehindme.com. That's
I
the
love it.
apparel store that Paul is working with. And don't forget stpetebikefest.com. It starts next Thursday and ends on Sunday. It's at Birdsboro Barracuda, also OCC. And Paul will be there for his big ride on Saturday.
Which you can register and get in.
You can register to get in by going to stpetebikefest.com.
Bubba, you don't have to register. You can just come on a bike.
I'm calling Bird up first, okay?
Yeah,
So I'm going to
Bert's
say,
the man.
here's how I'm going to work it, okay? Bert
needs
can't
a
say no to this.
motorcycle
I'm going to say, hello, Bert, Bubba. Hey, Bubba, remember when I was on that bus with Jesse Dupree from Jacko and he said if I needed anything to give you a call? Yeah. Well, I kind of need something. What do you need? Well, I just had Paul, Paul Teutul, that guy. Oh, yeah, Paul. Yeah, I had him on my show this week. We're promoting the Bike Fest and stuff, and he said he wanted me to ride with him on the deal. But I don't have a Harley, so can I get one of those demos that, for at least the ride? I got my bike endorsement and insurance and a couple $100 in my pocket. So can I come over there? Paul said for me. Paul specifically told me to ask for you.
He's going to say, "Okay, give me the couple $100."
Right, exactly. Hey, Paul, great seeing you, my friend.
Yeah,
I got a
thank you.
feeling we're gonna see more of each other.
Yeah.
And let's not forget St. Pete Bike Fest, stpetebikefest.com to register for Paul's ride. It's the Sunshine Charity Ride with Paul. That starts at 9 o'clock on Saturday. I'm going to try to be there. And again, you can get information on stpetebikefest.com.
Uncensored.
Yes, a lot.
Unflappable.
I drink dirty bananas and lay by the pool.
And uneducated.
Unhealthily, is that a word? Unhealthily?
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show returns after these words.